learn about force, and let us continue the topic. Today we will learn about the pressure. Now what is pressure? To explain that, let us have a look on these kind of example. Suppose you are taking one wooden box and take some soil and wet it. Means you will create mud like this. And now place the brick horizontally like this. So after removing the brick, measure the length for the area, means the deepest area that created by the shape of the brick. Suppose I'm taking this, suppose this was your box and suppose this was your brick. So after removing the brick, you will get this kind of deepness here. So let us mark this as height h, and suppose you will get it as around 5 centimeter. Now you have to repeat the experiment, but this time you will place the brick vertically, means like this. You will place the brick vertically. Now again measure the depth created by the brick. So what you will observe? You will observe that this deepness will increase this time. So you will observe that it will be around 8 centimeter, or definitely it will be more than 5 centimeter. Now why this happens? Since the brick have same mass, but this time the area which is in contact with mud is changing. Here you can see, since we are keeping the brick horizontally, the area of the brick which is in the contact with the mud is wider area, but in the second case it is smaller area. That means here area matters, which is affecting or which is going inside the mud, that will say. This is the first example. Then again consider the second example. Take one nail and with your hand only try to push the nail inside a soft wooden box, but in the opposite way. Means suppose this is the nail you are taking. So this is the circular area which is flat, and this is the pointed area. Now try to push this nail by the opposite circular flat area inside any soft wooden box. What you will observe, try to note that how much force you are applying here. So now repeat the experiment by using pointed area. In both the cases you will observe that in the first case definitely nail will not go inside, but in the second case for a little bit area the nail will go inside the box. Why this is happening? Because you can see, suppose this was your box. So in the first case the area which was in contact with the wooden box was wider area, and in the second case you can see this area is very little bit, it is pointed area. So that means there is a quantity, means we are applying same kind of force. Means suppose in the first and second case we are pushing the nail with the same force, suppose let's say by 2 newtons, but the effect of that force in both the cases is different. Means there is a relationship between force and pressure. So we will write it as, actually you can see the result of the force, means we are applying the force, but whether the force will perform the work or not, it depends upon the area on which we are applying the force. So the quantity which is related to force and area both is known as pressure. So that's why the pressure is denoted by capital P and pressure is force upon area. Why is it so? You can see when area is larger, the result of the force is very small or negligible, but when area is smaller, we can see the work done by the force. So pressure is force upon area. So from the formula we can see that if area is decreased, pressure will increase, and if area is increased, pressure will decrease. So in the first case you can see in both the example, area is greater. So that's why pressure applied by the brick on the mud is definitely, it will be smaller. Here P is smaller, and while in the second case P will be greater because area is smaller here. Here also same thing. In this first case pressure will be smaller, in the second case pressure will be greater. So that's why as the area decreases, pressure increases, and as the area increases, pressure decreases. So here are some examples. Now let us study some more examples here. Now you must have seen porters. What they use means while carrying some weight, they used to roll some cloth, put on their head, and then on that they used to carry the load. Why they are doing so? See, suppose this is the head. So if the porters will keep directly the load, the area which is in contact with the head will decrease, so that's why pressure will increase, and because of that high pressure it will be very difficult to carry the load. Whereas if you are using the rolled cloth like this, so you can see area in contact with head will increase, and on that if you are putting the load, you will find that because of increased area, the effect of pressure will decrease and it will easy to carry the load. Also, this is your daily example. Your hand means your shoulder bags have the larger area of strips. Why it is so? Because of larger area, definitely area is larger, that's why pressure will decrease, and it will be easy to carry that heavy bag. So these are the daily examples by using which we can understand how pressure exerted and how it is related to area. So this is the pressure that we are studying here. Now let us have some more examples of pressure. Try to cut the vegetables with sharp knife and blunt knife. What you will observe? It is very easy to cut the vegetable by using sharp knife, because since it is sharp means area is pointed, means it is smaller area. So because of its smaller area, the pressure that we will apply will increase and it will easy to cut the vegetables. It is opposite situation for blunt knife. Because it is blunt, the area is definitely not, means area is not smaller, area is wider. So that's why as we are applying the pressure, but the effect of that pressure will decrease, and because of that vegetables will not cut easily. So this is the example where we can see the effect of pressure. Again you may have several examples. The examples of having this, while we are playing the cricket also we used to apply the pressure on the ball. Also when we hit the ball by bat, there also we are applying the area. So in that case also you can see the area or the portion of the bat is also means bat is created according to the size of the ball. So you can't take the wider sheet of the wood to play. Why? It will be difficult to hit. Means we can study the different examples where pressure is related definitely. Now we have seen in these examples that pressure is applied by solids. Now whether the pressure is applied by liquids or gases, let us have a look on these examples here. will study the pressure applied by the liquids first. So for liquids, there is one activity. Take one cylindrical transparent glass tube like this, which is open at both the ends. Means you can take glass pipe actually. Here you will fix the balloon like this. Now what you will do, pour some water here. After filling the tube with water, you will observe that the size of the balloon will increase since water will go inside the balloon. In the second case, what you have to do, you will increase the water level, and you will observe that after increasing the water level, the size of the balloon will also increase. That means the water in the tube is exerting pressure on the walls of the balloon, and because of that the size of the balloon increases. So this is the first example where we can see water, which is a liquid, can also exert pressure. Now let us have a look on next example. Suppose you are taking one plastic bottle here. You can take empty Bisleri or cold drink bottle, plastic bottle. Now what you have to do, make one hole here and fix a small glass tube here like this. For this purpose, you can heat the glass tube at 180 and just fit inside. And if there is leakage, you can fix it by using molten wax, or also you can use the clay. And at one end, again you will fix balloon, rubber balloon, and same activity. Pour water here. Balloon, the size of the balloon will increase. If again you are increasing the water level, again you will observe that size of the balloon will also increase. What is difference between these two activities? Here you can see I am fitting the balloon at the bottom, means at the downward side, whereas here I am fitting the balloon along the side of the bottle. That means water exerting pressure on downward side as well as on the sides of the container. Means here we observe that liquid also exert pressure all around the walls of the container, not only in the downward direction, also along the sides of the container. So these are the two examples where we can see liquids also exerts pressure. If you remember, you must have seen leaked pipe, where you can see water comes like fountain from those leaks. That means what? Means pipes are there. When leak is there, water comes with pressure, and because of that pressure, fountain is formed. So this shows us that water has a greater pressure. So because of that pressure, it is forming a fountain and it is coming out. Also you can take another example. Suppose you will take similar bottle here. Take this in a plate, and by using any hot means tube or something, make holes like here, here and here on the bottle and pour some water. What you will observe, water will come out like this, and the level of the water, means the speed of the water by which it is coming out, will be similar. This also shows us that at all the points, pressure exerted by the water on the walls of the container is similar, but we are taking equal height. Suppose if you will make the holes at this particular level, definitely the pressure experienced by the water will be different. If you are making hole at the bottom, again the pressure experienced by that point will be different. So here these examples shows us that liquids do exert pressure on the walls of the container. Now what about gases? So let us study pressure for gases. For this particular thing, we will take simple examples. You must have blown the balloon. So blowing the balloon means what you are doing actually, you are just pushing the air inside the balloon, and because of the air the balloon the size of the balloon increases. Why this is happening? Actually you are blowing the air, that means air have different gases or particles of the air exert pressure on the walls of the balloon, and because of that the size of the balloon increases. This examples also tells us that the gases also exert pressure. You must have performed this activity holding the fully loaded balloon and just holding the mouth and just release it. What will happen? The balloon will move here and there randomly by releasing the air. So this also proves us that in the first case, when we were holding the balloon, the pressure inside the balloon was very greater, and suddenly if we release it, the air which is inside the balloon comes out with high pressure. So because of that, air is moving. Suppose air is moving in the left hand side, the balloon will move in the right hand side. That phenomena we observe. So this example tells us that gases also exert pressure on the walls of the container. One more activity that you can perform at your home, very simple activity. Take one empty Bisleri bottle or any plastic bottle. What you will do, just press it, means you will release the air which is inside the bottle. So after pressing it, press it with your left hand, just close the mouth by using cap. So what you will do, now you can see the shape of the bottle is decreased, means shape is changed and it is of smaller size now. So what you will do, slowly just release the cap, means you will lose the cap. You will observe that slowly the actual perfect size of the bottle will regain, means your bottle will become perfect now. Why this happened? Because when we released the air, there was not air inside the bottle, so there was not pressure on the walls of the bottle. Now when we release the cap, slowly air from outside enters in the bottle, and those air particles insert pressure on the walls of the bottle from all sides, and because of that pressure our bottle will get its original shape and size. So this is the example which also tells us that the gaseous molecules also exert pressure, means solids, liquids and also gases exert pressure. This pressure is everywhere, we can say. Now as I explained you, the pressure is everywhere. There is one pressure that we have now, that we are experiencing now, but we can't see its result. That pressure is known as atmospheric pressure. Now what is atmospheric pressure? Atmospheric pressure, the name itself suggests, as you know, above the earth at different kilometers, we have the total envelope of atmosphere like this. Suppose this is our earth, then we have only our planet have this special covering or special umbrella, we can say, which protects us, and this is the layer of atmosphere. And as you know, atmosphere contains different gases like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, then noble gases, also the dust particles, then water vapor. This all we known as, means the combined mixture we called it as air. So because of this air, these air particles also exert some pressure, and this is due to atmosphere. That's why we call it as atmospheric pressure. How we can experience that atmospheric pressure. Here I will explain you what is atmospheric pressure. You must have seen the suckers. Suppose this is your table, and just hold the suckle and press it on the table like this. Now try to remove the sucker. What you will feel? Means we have to apply a greater force to remove that. Now why this is happening? Actually, when you are pressing the sucker, you are removing the air which was between the surface of the table and say the mouth of the sucker. So this air is released now when you pressed that sucker. So there is no pressure from inside because there is no particle. There are no particles which will apply or which will release the pressure. But air is here, means air particles are here around the sucker. So those will apply the pressure on the sucker from the back side. So because of that, only pressure is acting from one side. So this pressure is very high. So in order to remove the sucker from the table, we have to apply the force which will be greater than this atmospheric pressure. So at the time of pulling that sucker, you can experience how greater the atmospheric pressure is. Even I had given you example of pressing the plastic bottle, Bisleri bottle. In that case also, when you release the mouth, when you release the cap, the bottle suddenly get its original shape. In that case also, the atmospheric pressure is acting there. So we can experience the atmospheric pressure. Now I will explain you why we don't experience the atmospheric pressure. Now let us calculate how much atmospheric pressure we must experience. Suppose the dimension of my head is 15 centimeter into 15 centimeter. Means suppose area of our head is 15 into 15. And the mass which is acting on our head will be actually, it will be 225 kg. So as you know, force is mass into acceleration due to gravity. So your force which is actually acting on our head will be 2250 Newton. Means if we take G is equal to 10 meter per second square. So this much force is acting on our head actually, but we are not experiencing that pressure. Means if we have to find out the pressure, we will divide force by area, and accordingly we will get the value of pressure. Means, but you can see it will be definitely very high value. So that much pressure we are not experiencing, because the atmospheric pressure which is acting on our head or on our body is equal to the blood pressure of our body. So that's why both the pressure cancel each other and we are not experiencing that pressure. So this is the reason why we don't experience the atmospheric pressure, but definitely it is everywhere. Wherever air is there, atmospheric pressure is there. So now at this point we complete our chapter. So let us revise few things here. So let us revise the chapter. In the first part we have learned about the forces. in that section we have learned that in order to apply the force, we have to push the object, pull the object or lift the object. And in case to have the effect of the force, or in case we have to apply the force, interaction between the two objects is necessary. Means to apply the force, contact is required between one object and the another object. The one object which is applying the force and another object which is experiencing the force. So interaction is required. After that, we have seen by using the force what we can do. Means by using the force or by applying the force, we can change the state of the motion. We can set the stationary object in the motion, or we can stop the moving object by applying the force. We can change the direction, we can change the speed, and also by the application of force, we can change the shape of the object. And after that, we have learned about contact forces and non-contact forces. In contact forces, we learned two kinds of forces, muscular force and friction. For the muscular force, we have taken different examples. One of those was means pulling the cart, or the pulling the bull by using the rope. These were the examples of the application of muscular force. And for the friction, I had given you the example of rolling ball on the ground and also the moving car on the ground. Then on the non-contact forces, we have learned about three kinds of forces: gravitational force, magnetic force and electrostatic force. At that stage, we had completed the concept of force, and in this section we had started with pressure. What is the pressure? How it is related to force and area that we have studied. That pressure is actually force acting on unit area. That is, formula of the pressure was force upon area. Then we had studied that not only solids apply the pressure, but liquids and also gases applies the pressure. And also we learned about atmospheric pressure. Means because of atmosphere, there is pressure everywhere and it also acts on us. But because atmospheric pressure is equal to our blood pressure, we don't experience it. So here we complete our chapter, and now we will solve the exercise from your textbook. Now let us solve the exercise. First question from your textbook is, give two examples each of situation in which you push or pull to change the state of motion of object. Now this is very simple question. You have to give two example in which you are pushing or pulling the object in order to change the state of motion of the object. So here I will explain you the examples. So the two examples for push force are, first example means for pushing I am giving you two example. First example, a heavy box at rest is pushed to move from for moving from one room to another. Then here the changes in the state of motion of the box. Means firstly box was stationary, now we are moving, means we are pushing the box to move it from one room to another room. This is the first example. Second example, a player pushes a football using foot. In this case also, see, firstly if the football was moving, but it may have this lesser speed or it may slow, but now while pushing it, the ball will increase its speed. So that's why this is the next example. Then let us consider two examples of pulling. Now here we used to draw the water from the well. In that case we used to pull the rope so that the bucket full of water will come out of the well. This is the first example. In the second example, we can also write, means we can pull the drawer, means the drawer which is fixed in table, we used to pull the drawer. So this is the next example. Very simple question. Second question you have, give two examples of situation in which applied force causes change in shape of the object. Again very simple. Then here I will explain you. First example you can take, it is making bread from dough. Means in that case you are applying pressure or you are applying force on the dough to make the bread. So this will be the first example. Second example you can take, deformation of clay by pressing it between the hands. Means by using the clay you can also make different toys of different shape. In that case also we are changing the shape of the clay according to our need. So these two are the examples. Third question you have, it is fill in the blanks. So in that case, first you have to draw a water from a well. We have to dash at the rope. Definitely we have to pull the rope in order to draw the water from the well. So here you will write pull, since we are pulling the rope. So underline your answer is pull. So total means full statement will be, to draw water from a well we have to pull the rope. So this is the answer. Then second fill up you have, a charged body dash uncharged body towards it. Now here charged body have some charge developed on it. For example, if you remember, I have mentioned you the example of combing your dry hairs. So because of that, electrons are generated from there, means electrons are separated which are negatively charged on the comb. So now my comb is charged body and we are taking small pieces of paper. So this is uncharged body, and you observe that when we take when we take comb closer to that pieces, pieces get attracted towards the comb. So this is the similar example. So you can see charged body attracts uncharged body. So here we will write attracts. Again underline your answer. So your answer is attracts. So the full statement will, a charged body attracts uncharged body towards it. Third fill up you have, to move a loaded trolley we have to dash it. Very simple. Means in order to move the loaded body, means loaded trolley, you can push, means you can pull or you can push. So you will write push or pull. It depends on you whether you will push or pull. So this is the correct answer. So the full statement will become, to move the loaded trolley we have to push or pull it. Last fill up you have, the north pole of a magnet dash the north pole of another magnet. Now this particular experiment you can perform it. It is very simple. Here I will explain you. You can take one bar magnet. As you have learned, magnet have two poles, north pole and south pole. Now try one thread at the center and hang this by using stand like this. Now what you will do, take another bar magnet like this and take its north pole closer to north pole of hanging magnet. So you will observe that since these two are like poles, north pole and north pole, these two are like poles, they will repel each other, means they will go farther from each other. So that's why here you will write, the north pole of the magnet repels the north pole of the another magnet. So repels is your answer. Then next question we have, fourth question. It is, an arcus stretches.
A lot of students waste their precious time watching cartoons, movies, reality shows on TV. Then they waste their time on social networking sites. When the students sit to study, they are unable to concentrate to get your studies finished, and they get low marks in exams. Parents shell out tons of money from their pockets for coaching classes. But who knows what is taught in these classes? Teachers at times get bugged up when you ask them questions. YouTube has a lot of information but little of use. This is where Study Spectrum TV channel comes in picture. Every chapter explained by different teachers with different examples and repeat telecasts. We remember 20% of the audio ads we hear, 30% of the printed items we see. But we remember 70% of the audio visuals. That is why video teaching is a powerful medium to learn. After watching Study Spectrum TV channel, you get a peaceful sleep with no tensions and no worries. You devote less time towards your studies and you get better marks in your exams. Visit us on www.studyspectrum.com. Follow us on Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe for Study Spectrum TV channel and keep edifying.
Her bow while taking aim at the target. She then releases the arrow which begins to move towards the target. Based on this information, fill up the gaps in the following statements using the following terms. The terms we have: muscular, contact, non-contact, gravity, friction, shape and attraction. Means here we can see one situation is given. For that situation, which terms we are using, that terms are also given. Means definitely we will apply, means in that situation muscular force will be applied, there will be contact and non-contact force also, there will be gravity, there will be friction, there may have the shape change, they may have the attraction. So we have to use these terms properly in order to fill these gaps. Now first question is given here, means first situation is given here. To stretch the bow, the archer applies a force that causes change in its, definitely by stretching the bow the shape will change. So here you will write shape. So the sentence will become: to stretch the bow, the archer applies a force that causes change in its shape. So shape is your correct answer. Underline it. Second case you have: the force applied by the archer to stretch the bow is an example of dash force. Definitely by muscle he is stretching the bow, so it is a muscular force. By muscles he is applying the force, no? So that's why it is muscular force. So you will write muscular there, and the total statement will become: the force applied by the archer to stretch the bow is an example of muscular force. So underline the word muscular. Third situation we have: the type of force responsible for a change in a state of motion of the arrow is an example of a dash force. Means the question is, which type of force is responsible to change the motion of the arrow? Means arrow firstly was stationary and now it is moving. So which force is actually responsible here? So we have to check the options which are given. So from the given terms, contact force is the perfect answer, because there was a contact between, firstly with the bow, means arrow was connected to bow, and also with the hands of the man. So that's why when it releases, because of that contact force is applied, and that's why the arrow got its speeds. So that's why your answer is contact force. Then next we have: while the arrow moves towards its target, the forces acting on it are due to dash and dash due to of air. Means definitely here for you I will draw it. Suppose arrow is moving like this. Suppose target is here. And you will see that definitely gravitational force is there, earth is there, that's why gravitational force is there, and arrow is moving through air. So there will be friction between arrow and the particles of the air. So here you will write gravity and friction. So these two are the remaining terms and these are the proper terms which we will use here. So your perfect statement will become, while the arrow is moving towards the target, the forces acting on it are due to gravity and due to friction of the air. Now let us move toward our next question. It is fifth question. It is, in the following situations, identify the agent exerting the force and the object on which it acts. State the effect of the force in each case. Again, we have different cases. In that case, definitely one object is applying pressure on, means force on the other, and we have to find out what will be the effect of this force, applied force. First question we have, squeezing a piece of lemon between the fingers to extract its juice. Very simple, you must have done this. Just we have to squeeze the lemon in order to draw the juice from it. So here, agent which is exerting the pressure, by fingers we are applying the pressure. So fingers are the agent exerting the force. Then the object which is experiencing the force, definitely it is the piece of lemon, and effect of the force will be, what will happen? The effect we will not write here that juice will come out. No. What happening on the lemon? The shape of the lemon is changed here. So we will write agent exerting force, fingers, object experiencing the force, lemon, effect of the force, change in the shape of the lemon. So this is the correct answer. The next situation we have, taking out pest from toothpaste tube. Again, this is very simple. You are performing this daily. Very simple. By fingers we will press the tube of the toothpaste. So fingers are the again agents. Then the object which is experience that force, it is definitely toothpaste tube. And what is the outcome? Definitely change of the toothpaste tube will change here. Third situation we have, a load suspended from a spring while its other end is on hook fixed at the wall. Very simple, I will draw it for you. Suppose this is the wall or this is the ceiling. Here, from here, they have one spring, and at the bottom one load is applied here. So what you will see, you will observe that, means you can perform this activity, you will observe that the size of the spring will increase, means this windings of the spring will increase and it will come down. So here the agent which is applying force, definitely this load is applying force to pull the spring downward. Then the object which is experiencing that force is spring, and the result will be shape of the spring will change, means the windings of the spring will get wider. So this is the case. Then in the next case we have an athlete making a high jump to clear a bar at a certain height. Now you must have watched or you must have seen this on TV. This is very simple. Here athlete is trying to jump, means trying to high jump to clear the bar at a certain height. So he is applying the force by using his muscles, or we can say the leg muscles. So agent who is applying the force, it is definitely the muscles of the athlete. Now on which object this force is applied? See, in this case it is little bit confusing situation. Since he is jumping, so definitely he will be the only person or he will be the only object, he will experience that force. That's why it is hard to jump, no? So athlete himself is an object which is experiencing that force while jumping. And what will be the result of this force? There will be change in the state of motion of the athlete. Definitely, firstly, he must be standing. Now while jumping, the state of the motion of the athlete is changing here. Next situation we have, this next question we have, a blacksmith hammers a hot piece of iron while making a tool. How does the force due to hammering affects the piece of iron? Now very simple, we have the piece of iron and we have to make a tool from that iron. So we are hammering that definitely to change the shape of the iron according to our need. So answer is, when a blacksmith hammers a hot piece of iron, he uses his muscular force. This muscular force changes the shape of the iron so that it can be given a desired shape in order to make a tool from that hot iron. This is the answer. Next question we have, an inflated balloon was pressed against the wall after it has been rubbed with a piece of synthetic cloth. It was found that the balloon stick to the wall. What force must be, means what force might be responsible for the attraction between balloon and the wall? This is the example of electrostatic force. In that, if you remember, I had explained you one example, rubbing the comb on dry hair and then it attracts the pieces of the paper. Similar situation is given. So here, see, while you are rubbing the balloon, the particles, electrons will get generated. This is again a charged body, but wall is uncharged body. So we will observe that this balloon, which is a charged body, will attract the wall, which is uncharged body. So because of this attraction, the balloon will stick to the wall. So you will write electrostatic force is responsible for the attraction between the balloon and the wall. Next question we have, name the forces acting on a plastic bucket containing water held above the ground level in your hand. Discuss why forces acting on a bucket do not bring a change in its state of motion. Very simple question. We are just holding the plastic bucket which is full of water, and we have to name those forces which are acting on the bucket, but we have to also write the reason why these forces are not performing any kind of work. So here we will write muscular forces acting in upward direction, because see, suppose this is the bucket. And here we are holding this, right? Here we are holding the bucket. So that means we are stretching it upward. So muscular force is acting upward. But there is another force which will also act in the downward direction, and this is the force due to gravity of the earth. So here we will write muscular force is acting in upward direction and the force of gravity is acting in the downward direction. Both the forces acting in opposite direction to each other, and hence they will nullify effect. Means one is acting upward, one is acting downward, so they will cancel each other. So there is no change in the state of motion of the bucket. Now if the force applied by our hand is decreased, means if we are holding the bucket loosely, then what will happen? The force which is acting upward, our muscular force is decreased now, so that you can feel the bucket will go downward little bit, or it may fall from your hand. In this case, two forces are there, but the effect of the first force will decrease. So that's why the result of the gravitational force we can see, and bucket will come to the lower level, or it may fall from your hand. this is very simple question. Then next question we have, a rocket has been fired upward to launch a satellite in its orbit. Name the two forces acting on the rocket immediately after leaving the launching pad. Now this is again a very simple question. You must have learned about the launching the rockets. Now here, rocket is an instrument by which, means it is launched and it have the satellite there, means by launching the satellite actually rocket is used. So what happens, definitely we are launching the rocket, that means it will move upward. So let us write down, there are two forces acting on the rocket. Those are the forces of gravity which will try to pull the rocket towards the ground, and the force of friction due to Earth's atmosphere. Definitely the rocket is passing from the atmosphere just like this arrow. So frictional force is also there which will try to stop the motion or try to decrease the motion of the rocket. So these two are the forces. Firstly, the gravitational force. Second, friction of atmosphere or friction of air which will opposes the rocket's motion. Here next question, which is last question we have. When we press the bulb of a dropper with its nozzle kept in water, air in the dropper is seen to escape in the form of bubbles. Once we release the pressure on the bulb, water gets filled in the dropper. The rise of water in the dropper is due to, here we have options, pressure of water, gravity of earth, shape of the rubber bulb, atmospheric pressure. Very simple experiment. Here I will explain you. You can perform this experiment by taking ink dropper. Suppose this is the ink bottle you have. Now dip Now suppose this is the ink dropper. What you will observe, firstly you will press this bulb. So whatever air was inside the dropper will come out from here, and you can see that air in the form of small air bubbles. No, now my dropper is empty. So what will happen, there is ink inside the ink bottle. So on the ink, but the mouth of the bottle is open, so that means suppose this is the ink level in the bottle. So air is there. So air is there, that means atmospheric pressure is there. So this air will try to push the level of ink downward. So what will happen? So because of this pressure of air, your level of the ink will try to minimize the area, and that ink will go inside the ink dropper. This is the similar example. That means in this case, which kind of force is acting, or which is the thing which is doing this work? So definitely it is air and its pressure. So this is the atmospheric pressure. So your perfect answer is, it is option, last option, it is atmospheric pressure. So I hope you must understand all the question answers, even the chapter. So study it well. If you have any kind of doubt or any kind of question, you can contact us. So here we complete our chapter.